I don't know if this is going to be day 17 or day 18. I don't know what I'm doing yet. This schedule is like all out of whack. But I thought I would do some fun facts you might not know about me. So I've got kind of like a list here because I kind of tend to ramble a lot. So yeah, let's just get started. These are just going to be some fun facts. Plus I needed something that I could film by myself. So get ready to be hit with some knowledge, I guess. I was homeschooled in 9th and 10th grade. I went to school online here, actually in this room. My computer was like over there in the corner. The reason I was homeschooled was actually because of my weight problem at the time, which I'll go into when I do my how I got into fitness video. I actually really loved it when I started, and then I grew to hate it because I might not be like a social person, but when you're going to school online in your house and you're not seeing people and talking to people every single day, it gets really boring. I would sit on, like I would go running in the morning, and then I would come home, I would eat, I would start doing schoolwork around like 12, and then I'd be done by like 3 or 4. And it was just really boring. I went back to public school in 11th grade. So I was a cheerleader in elementary school, middle school, until I think like 6th grade, and then again in high school when I went back to public school. I've never actually been that athletic. Cheerleading was the only sport that I ever did, and I know a lot of people don't consider it a sport, but I mean, I could lift girls above my head, so I considered it a sport. I was a back spot, and I experimented with flying a little bit. You can imagine with my fear of heights, that didn't go so well. I was a cheerleader, and I absolutely loved it. We had, I mean, you know, every team has their problems, but we really did have a great group of girls. I was actually co-captain my senior year, so that was fun. And leading with that, I am not competitive. That seems really weird coming from someone who competes, but I'm not competitive at all. I think I'm the only person in my family who doesn't have a competitive bone in their tiny body. Like, my whole family will play games at like Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff like that. We'll play games after we eat, and they will like trash talk each other and try to, like, they're just so competitive, and I'm just sitting there. I sit there all the time. I'm like, I don't care. When I, like, okay, say we're playing apples to apples or Cards Against Humanity. If I win a round, I'm like, oh, cool, okay, thanks. When they win a round, they're like, yes, that's my card, and they'll argue, and it's just, I can't. Okay, so I was actually really into photography in high school, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always loved it. It's always been a hobby of mine, but I really got involved in it in high school. I took some classes, and I actually almost tried to make a career out of it. I went as far as to look into an art school for photography. I actually me and my mom went to Philadelphia, and we took a tour of the Art Institute, and I seriously thought about, you know, going to college for photography, trying to make a business out of it, and I'm actually really glad I didn't. But I have like pictures, I have like albums still on Facebook of all the photos that I used to have taken. I don't know. But I used to like take my sister outside, and I'd be like, okay, so we're gonna do a photo shoot. And so we'd like walk around the development, and I'd be like taking pictures and trying to be all artsy and crap. And yeah, I was really into it. Okay. This next one has to do with food. I hate seafood. Like, cannot stand it. The smell makes me sick. You will never see me post a picture of tilapia or sushi or tuna or anything. I hate it. And hate is a strong word that I don't use very often. I hate it. We had to take And I mean, my school was, I live in the middle of nowhere, okay? So my school, obviously, when I was in middle school, yeah, it was my first year of middle school in 5th grade, we had to take a field trip to the local seafood plant. Seriously, what school does that? Oh, we're gonna take a trip to the seafood plant. Well, yeah, that didn't turn out so good because we had to like take a tour, and like we walked through, I guess they're like the room where they like get the fish and their import room. I don't know, their incoming stock room where the trucks would bring the fish. We had to walk through where the trucks would bring the fish, and the smell was so overwhelming that I seriously almost threw up. A teacher noticed the look on my face, and I guess my face was turning like some kind of color. Like I must have looked so sick. And she was like, "Do you need to go outside? Are you allergic?" I'm like, "I'm not allergic, but the smell is just like, I feel sick." Like I thought I was gonna pass out. That's how bad it was. So, and I always knew that the smell of fish made me sick, but I didn't know that it would be that bad, and there was no way that I could get out of this field trip because I wasn't allergic to it. So, because I think they wanted like a doctor's note or something, this teacher took me outside and stood with me until the rest of the class got done with the tour. And ever since, I have not gone anywhere near fish. Every time Kevin makes fish, I'm like, "You keep that crap away from me. I don't want to smell it." Ugh. That will haunt me forever. Like, I will never make my children eat fish. Ever. I don't even like when my mom's cat eats fish. The fish, seafood, like, medley, the soft cat food. Ugh, God. Okay. It's another fun food fact. Up until last year, I've never had a hamburger. Ever. I used to, the only meat that I would eat when I was younger was chicken, and I was so adamant about this. I never ate ham, I never ate steak, I never ate anything up until, I don't remember when I started eating turkey burgers and like ground turkey, but at least up until last year, I never had a hamburger. We were at my mom's company picnic, and they didn't really have like a lot of options, and I was like, oh, I'm trying to, it was summer, so I was trying to stick to my macros, trying to stay like semi-lean, because I wasn't competing that year, and I was like, well, I guess I can eat a hamburger. I'd never had one before, so I was just like, well, it's protein, I'll try it. And it was especially hard to eat there because I still thought I was gluten-free. So, yeah, up until last year I never had a hamburger, and now I love hamburgers. Go figure. Also, kind of having to do with that, I was a vegetarian for 4 or 5 years. Actually, when I met Kevin, I was still a vegetarian. I think I became a vegetarian in like 9th grade. I went through this phase when I was homeschooled, like I wanted to save all the animals, and I thought it was so cruel to eat them, and I was like one of those people who was like on the PETA website all the time, and I was like, oh my god, these animals, like I need to save them. How can you eat these animals? Like, I love animals, and I always have and I always will. But yeah, so I was a vegetarian from 9th grade until I think, what was it? The year I started cosmetology school. So until 2012. Yeah, I think I was a vegetarian from 9th grade until 2012. And that was kind of like when I started lifting, and I was just feeling really weak all the time, and Kevin was like, well, maybe you're lacking some kind of nutrient that you're not getting since you're not eating meat. And I was like, you could be right. He's like, you're probably lacking iron. And I was like, well, I looked at all my like vegetarian stuff, and I was like, there's not really a lot of iron in this. He's probably right. So I let him make me chicken one day. Like, we would hang out every Saturday or every Sunday during the school year, and I let him cook me chicken one day, chicken and vegetables, and that kind of became a weekly thing, and I was still eating like a vegetarian the rest of the week, and eventually I just kind of gave in, and I was like, well, I like chicken, chicken's good, so I just try not to think about the animals when I eat meat, because I still love them, they're still cute. I'll still like drive past cows on the side of the road and I'll be like, oh my god, they're so cute, they're like almost the baby ones, they're as big as Bravo. So yeah. Okay, I'm rambling about meat and now making myself hungry, kind of. Okay. So this next fact kind of goes back to when I was in school, in high school. I went through kind of an emo phase back when I was homeschooled, like 9th and 10th grade. I went through an emo phase. That was the first time I dyed my hair black, and I wore black eyeliner all the time. Like basically all my makeup was dark. I wore a lot of black clothes. Like I still wore normal, like, you know, teenager clothes. Like I wore American Eagle and Hollister and stuff like that. But I always had like something black on, and my homeschool also had like an art school that you could go to once a week in Westchester. So I went, no, it was twice a week. I went there twice a week, and I was surrounded by like all these artsy people, and it just kind of, I don't know, I really hated it. I'm not a big fan of artsy people. I consider myself creative, yes, but not like to that extent. So I really wasn't happy, and I think that kind of correlated with, it didn't help the whole emo phase thing. Like I was writing like I was really depressed in high school. I was so depressed, and so I was writing all these like sad songs, and because that was back when I thought I could write songs, and now 2 years later I look back and I'm just like, oh my god, what was I thinking? But yeah, so I wrote a lot of like sad songs, like depressing songs. My hair was black, dark makeup. At least like half of my outfits were black every day. I was just a miserable girl. Like I can't even look back on pictures because I just think, oh, Megan, what were you doing? What were you doing? So much more to live for than that. If you guys watched my trivia video with Kevin, then you know this next fact. But I was a Hooters girl, and it was honestly the best job I've ever had. Those girls I will always consider them some of my best friends, even though we haven't talked since our restaurant closed. Like, has it already been 2 years? Yeah, I think it's already been like 2 years, God. But yeah, it was honestly the best time of my life. That's where I competed in some of my first bikini competitions. Like we had one every season. My first one was football, so that was honestly my favorite one, the football one. But I'll put like up some pictures while I'm talking. But yeah, that was the best time in my life, and I actually thought that at one point that was all that I was going to amount to. I was going to be a Hooters girl and that was it. That was when I had like no idea what I was doing with my life. I already knew I didn't really want to do cosmetology. I knew I didn't want to like cut hair for a living, even though I still love cutting hair. I will never forget it. It's an experience I'll never forget. And anyone out there who has anything bad to say about Hooters, we were fully clothed, okay? I wear less on stage in my NPC shows, so you can just take a seat. My cousin was a Hooters girl too. We were Hooters girls together. We worked at the same restaurant. And then actually her other cousin on her mom's side of the family got a job there too. So it was a family affair. It was great. And at one point I had talked my sister into trying to get a job there too when she was old enough, but we closed. She'd be old enough now. We could have all worked together. It would have been great. Okay, so then the last fact is my hair's been pretty much every color you can think of. Not like the rainbow colors, but every natural hair color you can think of, my hair has been it. I've been red, I've been light brown, I've been like strawberry blonde. Don't use sun in, people. let's just say it was really hard to get my hair back to what it's supposed to be. I've been brown, I've been obviously black, and black is my favorite. It looks so good on my skin. I love it. Okay, but yeah. My hair's been every color. I've had highlights. I really would love to have an ombre. I would love it. I think it would be gorgeous. Like black up here and then light brown, like my natural color at the bottom, which actually it kind of is. But yeah, my hair's been every color and I will never stop changing my hair. Once a cosmetologist, always a cosmetologist. So yeah, those are my fun facts. I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about me. I would love to learn more about you guys, so if you want, you can leave a random fact about yourself in the comments. I would love to read them and get to know you guys better. Yeah, I guess that's it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!